everyone, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us. We are tracking severe Tropical Cyclone Harold, which is pushing past Fiji today, and then overnight tonight and Thursday, Tonga is next on the list. Meanwhile, New Zealand's weather is about to get windier and colder, and we've got a weekend storm or a weekend low, which honestly the modelling keeps chopping and changing. It's one of the more changeable systems I've seen in a very long time. So we've got the latest on that as well, but we kick off with the animated wind map showing Cyclone Harold very close to Fiji right now. It's about as close as it will get by about lunchtime today, Wednesday, very close to Nandi and to Suva, but not quite crossing over the main island itself. Now, when you take a look at the satellite map with the thunderstorms, you can see why Fiji, which is under that, all that lightning, the reason why they're so worried about flooding is simply the rain being pulled down from the tropics, from nearer to the equator, and just being pulled right down over the island nation, and it's hilly as well. On top of that, the center of the storm getting very close. This is lunchtime Wednesday. There's the main island. Nandi is to the left, Suva over here more to the right. The center of the storm forecast to be south of the main island, but the worst of those winds are on the outer edges of that eye, and that does brush and graze that southwestern and southern coastline. We've already seen some videos online of coastal inundation, some roofs lifted off as well. I mean, it's a good thing that the center of the storm is not directly hitting the main island, but there are other islands to the south. This is a very, very serious situation for them. And then, as I say, next stop, it's moving over towards Tonga, which it does overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now look at these winds just south of Suva in the blue here. This is 150, 160 Ks, and in fact it goes off the scale. There are gusts up to 200 and even above 200 Ks an hour in the middle of that storm out at sea. And finally, the lunchtime Wednesday shot of Harold getting very close to Nandi and Suva, but as I say, the bulk of it is offshore. Now this is a forecast model. It could be closer than this, and that's when a storm wobbles. So we just say to people, be aware this could move around a bit, but by far the worst of the weather is within this part here, which is just a little bit further south of Fiji. So we do expect damage, but it could have been a lot worse had this system been coming in a little bit further to the north. Now, the final thing we do have is the tracking of it, which shows it category 4 past Fiji, which is just there. Then it tracks off, goes past Tonga and weakens as it drops down well away from the New Zealand area. So we kick off with Thursday, and this is where we see the cold southerly blowing up around New Zealand. Harold's well off to the northeast, clearing away from Tonga by about lunchtime Thursday. But we've got this colder southerly around New Zealand. It'll be below average around the lower North Island temperature-wise. Dries out a fair bit over the South Island, and we've got 3 windy areas: Southland, Cook Strait area, and the Auckland area. Those all look fairly windy on Thursday. By Friday, high pressure starts to push in. A lot of low pressure off here. That's the Cyclone Harold and 2 other areas of low pressure. They're not really impacting New Zealand because this high is pushing it away a little bit. Southerlies mean it'll be a bit cooler for you on Good Friday. But once we get to Saturday, we've got our next change developing out in the Tasman. Now, this is where the modelling has shifted over the last 12 to 24 hours. 4 days now, both American and European modelling and dozens of other modelling we look at, we're picking this storm in the Southern Ocean. Some of them were picking it down here around the lower portion of the South Island. Now today, as we head in towards the weekend, Saturday, as I say, looks dry with those nor'westers picking up. But as we go to Easter Sunday, this low is now in the Tasman. Yesterday, it was picking, one model was picking it near Fiordland, another one had it right off the screen. So the computers are still working out this very chaotic setup. So don't lock this in. What they are sure of, and what I'm sure of as a forecaster, is that there is low pressure moving in this weekend, but the precise area that the centre will be, that has shifted from the mid-Tasman to Fiordland to south of New Zealand. So that's the wiggle room, if you like. Now, the further north it goes, the more likely wind and rain comes into northern New Zealand, but the less likely there is of a major winter blast coming in further south. And the further down it goes, the more likely we are to see the South Island impacted by maybe some wintry weather. So that's the forecast through till Sunday. And on Monday, our final map shows potentially, this isn't locked in yet, a low parked near the North Island with rain and showers moving in. And note the rain clouds are broken up So if you're in drought, don't think this will be the end of it, but it should be helpful. So in the next day or so, we will have to fine tune this. Now the good news is we've just relaunched ruralweather.co.nz. So go to ruralweather.co.nz. It's now mobile friendly and it loads up lightning fast. It was painfully slow before. The good thing about this is it's IBM's supercomputer, and it takes all of these maps and everything that I say and everything everyone else says and crunches it into one outlook. And so that for your local area might be more helpful than looking at a map where I'm saying things are moving around a lot and we still need to lock it in. So take a look at ruralweather.co.nz. It's the most granular, it's the largest weather data website for New Zealand that exists. So please check it out. And I'll be back again tomorrow with the very latest as we fine tune your Easter weekend forecast.